Hello and welcome to my next presentation on solving algebraic equations. This time we're going to look to perform backtracking for equations in which we have a variable such as x on both sides of the equals sign. I wish to pause the video now if you want to read this joke. Now, here are examples where I have x on both sides of the equal sign. So I have a 4x on this side, 2x on that side, negative 3x over here, negative x over here, a negative 2x over here, a 10x over there. So I'm sure you get the idea. And we want to solve this sort of equation. So here is the approach that I basically follow. I want to rearrange the equation by removing the smallest variable, that's the bit that has the x, from either side of the equal sign. And then we just solve that using backtracking. So let's have a look at this one here. 4x plus 1 equals 2x plus 3. So you notice I've got x on this side, x on that side. I need to rearrange this so I just have x's on one side of the equal sign. So we notice that 2x is the smallest variable. 2x over here is smaller than the 4x. So I want to get rid of this 2x. And the way I get rid of this 2x is by subtracting 2x from both sides of that equal sign. So I'll subtract 2x from this side, subtract 2x from that side. So 4x take away 2x is 2x. The 1 just stays untouched. The negative 2x is just subtracted from the 2x minus 2x will just give me a 0, and the 3 just remains untouched there. So then this equation here is equivalent to this equation here, and we can solve this much simpler one by using backtracking. So here I'll just go to the next page. So here is the 2x plus 1 equals 3. So I have a couple more presentations or videos on the backtracking, but essentially I take the x, multiply that by 2, which gives me 2x. Add 1, that gives me 2x plus 1, and I know that all equals 3. Then I just apply the inverse operations. I take away 1, which will give me 2. And then I divide by 2. I divide by 2, which gives me 1. I was just a little bit rattled by my alarm going off. So I'll move on to the next one. So this time, negative 2x plus 4 equals 10x minus 20. So thinking about what I do, negative 2x is the smallest variable. So there's the 2 over here. 2 is smaller than 10. Then so to eliminate this negative 2x, I need to apply the inverse of taking away 2, which is adding 2. So I will add 2x to both sides. 2x to this side, 2x to that side. I end up with 4 equals 12x, take away 20. And then I can backtrack that. So here is the backtracking. Just leave that for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then I'll move on to the next slide. So just feel free to pause that and just make sure it all makes sense to yourself. So next equation, negative 3x plus 5 equals negative x plus 1. So I've got a negative 3x on this side, negative x on that side. I need to identify the smallest variable, which in this case is a negative x. And to get rid of that negative x, I will add x to both sides. So there we go. Add x to this side, add x to this side. So notice how I line up the x's here. Makes it easier for my adding up. So this will become 2x, 5, that cancels out, and I have the 1. Then simply backtrack this equation here. It's a much simpler version of that. So we'll just go to the next slide here, and I'll just pause for 1 second. You can have a read of that. feel free to pause the video if you want to have a really good look at that. And I'm going to move to the next equation here. So this is the last one that I have. Negative x plus 4 equals negative 10x plus 31. This looks a fairly complicated equation. Now, look to see where the smallest value I have in front of my x. So negative 1 over here, negative 10 here. So I will use the negative x. That is the smallest variable. So to get rid of that negative x, I'm going to have to add x to both sides of the equal sign. So here we go, adding x to this side, add x to this side. They will cancel out. 4 just flows through. X, take away 10x, is negative 9x, and then I have the 31. That is a much simpler version of that. They are both equivalent. Now, if for some reason you decided to add 10x to that side and 10x to that side and cancel out this part here, you would end up with an equivalent expression which would still give the same answer. I just like to work on the smallest number, but you could work on the largest number and it would still operate quite well. So here's the backtracking of that. So quickly, I start with my x, I multiply that by negative 9, which gives me negative 9x. That's that bit there. I add 31, and that will give me negative 9x plus 31. And I know all of that there equals the 4. Now I just go backwards. 4, now I need to take away 31. The reason I take away 31 is because it's the inverse to adding 31. So 4 take away 31 is 27. Then I need to divide by negative 9. The reason I divide by negative 9 is up here, I multiplied by negative 9. So negative 27 divided by negative 9, that equals 3. And I can just verify that. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27 plus 31 equals 4. And if I wanted to, I could put that value of 3 in here, and it would give, you would see that that side of the equal sign would equal that side. So I'll let you do that if you wish. So I'm going to leave you now with one thought. So have a good evening.